MS Ramaiah University of Applied Sciences.
Hi students, let us discuss determination of CBR value. The aim of the experiment is to determine the California bearing ratio by conducting a load penetration test in the laboratory as per IS 2720-16-1987 and to plot the load versus penetration graph. California bearing ratio CBR test is a penetration test meant for the evaluation of subgrade strength of roads and pavements. The results obtained by these tests are used with the empirical curves to determine the thickness of pavement and its component layers. This is the most widely used method for the design of flexible pavement. CBR is the ratio of force per unit area required to penetrate a soil mass with standard circular piston at a rate of 1.25 mm per minute to that required for the corresponding penetration of a standard material. Experimental setup. Cylindrical mold with inside diameter 150 mm and height 175 mm provided with a detachable extension collar 50 mm height and a detachable perforated base plate 10 mm thick. Spacer disc 148 mm in diameter and 47.7 mm in height along with handle. Metal rammers weight 2.6 kg with a drop of 310 mm or weight 4.89 kg with a drop of 450 mm. Weights: one angular metal weight and several slotted weights weighing 2.5 kg each, 147 mm in diameter with a central opening 53 mm in diameter. Loading machine of capacity of at least 5000 kg and equipped with a movable head or base that travels at a uniform rate of 1.25 mm per minute. Metal penetration piston 50 mm diameter and minimum of 100 mm in length. 2 dial gauges reading to 0.01 mm. 4.75 mm and 20 mm IS sieves. Experimental procedure. For undisturbed specimen, attach the cutting edge to the mold and push it gently into the soil. When the mold is full of soil, remove it from the soil and clean the outside of the mold. Weigh the soil with the mold and determine its density knowing the volume of the mold. Determine the density. For remolded specimen, prepare the remolded specimen at Proctor's maximum dry density or any other density at which CBR is required. Maintain the specimen at optimum moisture content or the field moisture as required. The material used should pass 20 mm IS sieve, but it should be retained on 4.75 mm IS sieve. Prepare the specimen either by dynamic compaction or by static compaction. Static compaction. Calculate the weight of the wet soil at the required water content to give the desired density when occupying the standard specimen volume in the mold from the expression capital W equal to gamma D into 1 plus lowercase w into V, where capital W is the weight of the wet soil, lowercase w the desired water content, gamma D the desired dry density, V the volume of the specimen in the mold that is equal to 2250 centimeter cube as per the mold available in laboratory. Take the weight capital W calculated as above of the mixed soil and place it in the mold. Place a filter paper and the displacer disc on the top of the soil. Keep the mold assembly in static loading frame and compact by pressing the displacer disc till the level of the disc reaches the top of the mold. Keep the load for some time and then release the load and remove the displacer disc. The test may be conducted for both soaked as well as unsoaked conditions. If the sample is to be soaked, in both cases of compaction, put a filter paper on the top of the soil and place the adjustable stem and perforated plate on the top of filter paper. Put annular weights to produce a surcharge equal to weight of base material and pavement expected in actual construction. Each 2.5 kg weight is equivalent to 7 cm construction. Immerse the mold assembly and weights in a tank of water and soak it for 96 hours. Remove the mold from tank and note the consolidation of the specimen. Dynamic compaction. Take about 4.5 to 5.5 kg of soil and mix thoroughly with the required water. Fix the extension collar and the base plate to the mold. Insert the spacer disc over the base and place the filter paper on the top of the spacer disc. Compact the mixed soil in the mold using either light compaction or heavy compaction. For light compaction, compact the soil in 3 equal layers, each layer being given 55 blows by the 2.6 kg rammer. For heavy compaction, compact the soil in 5 layers, 56 blows to each layer by the 4.89 kg rammer. Remove the collar and trim off soil. Turn the mold upside down and remove the base plate and the displacer disc. Weigh the mold with compacted soil and determine the bulk density and dry density. Put filter paper on the top of the compacted soil, that is collar side, and clamp the perforated base plate onto it. Penetration test. Place the mold assembly with the surcharge weights on the penetration test machine. Seat the penetration piston at the center of the specimen with the smallest possible load, but in no case in excess of 4 kg so that full contact of the piston on the sample is established. Set the stress and strain dial gauge to read 0. Apply the load on the piston so that the penetration rate is about 1.25 mm per minute. Record the load readings at penetrations of 0.5, 1, 1.5, 2, 2.5, 3, 4, 5, 7.5, 10 and 12.5 mm. Note the maximum load and corresponding penetration if it occurs for a penetration less than 12.5 mm. Detach the mold from the loading equipment. Take about 20 to 50 grams of soil from the top 3 cm layer and determine the moisture content. Data collection and tabulation is as shown in the tables. Flow curve obtained is as shown in the figure. Calculations and computations. Calibration factor of the proving ring 1 division equal to 0.0556 kN per division. Surcharge weight used in kgs equal to 2.5 kg, that is 1 cm construction. Water content after penetration test in percentage. Least count of penetration dial 1 division in mm. CBR value equal to test load divided by standard load into 100. Plot the load versus penetration curve from the readings recorded. Test load is the corrected test load corresponding to the chosen penetration from the load penetration curve. The results of CBR value for 2.5 mm penetration and for 5.0 mm penetration are presented.
Hello students, today we shall be studying about CBR test. The aim behind conducting this test would be to find out the strength of the soil in terms of CBR value. This test, being an empirical method, doesn't give the true strength of the soil but gives us a comparative strength with respect to the standard specimen. So this particular experiment was actually developed by California State Highway Department, and it was later involved in the Bureau of Indian Standards for the determination of strength of the subgrade material. or pavement material. This experiment is as per IS 2720 part 16, and according to this specification we need to have an understanding about what are the various experimental setups that we need to use to conduct this experiment. So I would like to explain you about what are the various equipments that we need to conduct this test. The first one would be the mixing tray, which is required to mix the soil with the known quantity of water, which we call as optimum moisture content. The second would be the weighing balance with a maximum capacity of 10 kilos and an accuracy of 1 gram. The oil container, this would be the oil dispenser, which is required to coat the inner surface of the mold before we cast the specimen. Spatula, which is required to trim the surface of the specimen before we subject it to testing. Scale, required to have a check about the dimensions of the specimen before we subject it to test. And then the oven dried soil. This is the soil which is required to be tested, and as per IS standards we need to have 4.75 mm sieve passing material, which would be oven dried, and this is what we are going to use to cast the specimen. Trowels. These are the trowels that are required to mix the soil with the water before we cast the specimen. Measuring cylinder. This would be the 1000 cc measuring cylinder, which is required to measure the water before we mix it with the soil that we have taken. The base plate, above which we are going to place the mold and then cast the specimen and test it for the CBR value. And the CBR mold with an approximate diameter of 150 mm and an approximate height of 175 mm. And this is the mold that is required to cast the specimen to be tested for CBR value. Filter papers. These are the filter papers that are required to be placed at the bottom and the top of the specimen after being casted before we start the test. The spanner. This would be the 18/19 spanner that are required to tighten the nuts of the specimen and the mold during the casting process. Collar of approximately 150 mm dia, which is required to be placed on the mold during the casting process to accommodate the additional soil during compaction. Spacer disc with handle that is required to be placed in the mold during the compaction process to have a space as a free board of approximate height 47.7 mm, and the diameter of this would be approximately 148 mm. This would be the handle required to lift the spacer disc. And then the surcharge weights. These are the surcharge plates with approximate diameter 148 mm and with a central opening of diameter 53 mm. The approximate weight of these two plates would be 2.5 kilos each, and these are required to simulate the overburden pressure that we actually see at the site because of the overburdened soil. These are the rammers that are required to prepare the specimen by compaction. This is the light compaction rammer, and this would be the heavy compaction rammer. The weight of this rammer would be 2.6 kilos, whereas the weight of this rammer would be 4.9 kilos. The height of fall for this rammer is expected to be around 31 centimeter. The height of fall for this rammer is expected to be around 45 centimeters. To start with the experiment, we need to first prepare the specimen, and to prepare the specimen we need to make the arrangements for the mold to be fixed properly. So to start with, we are going to have the base plate with us, and now we are going to fix the mold as well as the collar with the base plate. First we need to take the base plate and then fix the CBR mold to this base plate. Always be careful that the mold sits exactly within the groove of this base plate. Once it is being seated properly, we need to tighten the bolts that is being provided to fix the mold to the base plate. We can use the spanner to tighten the mold with that of the base plate. Once it is done, we need to fix the collar at the top of this mold, which helps us to accommodate the extra soil that is required during compaction. Even here, we need to be careful that the collar sits exactly on the groove that is provided on the mold. The moment it is confirmed that it has sat properly, we need to tighten the bolts to fix the collar firmly on the mold. Once the mold is ready and we are sure that we can start the compaction process, we need to first smear the inner surface of this mold as well as the collar along with the base plate with the oil by making use of the oil dispenser. This is to ensure that the specimen that we are going to cast in this mold doesn't stick to the surface inside and it can be extruded out very easily. Once the oil is smeared, the next step would be to place the spacer disc at the bottom before we start the compaction process. You need to make sure that you place the handle on the spacer disc and drop it slowly in the mold. Once it has been placed, unscrew the handle and remove the handle out such that the spacer disc is left behind at the bottom. Once the spacer disc is placed, we are supposed to place the filter paper at the bottom before the compaction process. The diameter of this filter paper would be approximately 148 mm, and once it is placed, we are now ready with the mold for compaction process. Once we have prepared the mold to cast the specimen, now it is time to take the soil that is required to cast the specimen. So to begin with, we need to have a pan, 4.75 mm IS sieve, and then the lid that is required to be placed on this sieve. We need to place the sieve next on the pan the way it is being shown now, and then place the lid on top of it before we start the sieving process. Once we have placed the sieve on the pan, we need to take the soil that is being selected to be tested for CBR value. By making use of the trowel, fill the soil slowly inside the setup. Close the lid. Once the setup is ready and the soil is being placed inside this sieve, we can either transfer the setup on the mechanical sieve shaker, or it can be manually done like the way it will be shown now. Once the sieving process is completed, the material that is passing 4.75 mm sieve must be taken into a separate tray like the way it has been placed here. This material need to be oven dried for 24 hours for approximately at around 110 degrees Celsius in the hot air oven, and we need to weigh the specimen for approximately 6 kilos to start with the experiment. Place the empty tray on the weighing balance, tear it to 0, and then start transferring the soil back into this new tray. Keep transferring the material in the tray till we achieve a weight of approximately 6 kilos. Once we are sure that we have the required quantity of material, we can start with the experiment by compacting the specimen. Once we have taken 6 kilos of soil, we need to transfer the soil in the mixing tray. This soil now needs to be mixed with the predetermined optimum moisture content that we have found out during the compaction test. This is required to be added inside the soil to achieve the maximum dry density that is determined during the compaction test. So we will be transferring the water on the specimen evenly and then start the mixing process. Transfer the water evenly on the soil surface. And by making use of the trowel, mix the soil with the water evenly such that there are no lumps left behind. Now we have prepared the soil by mixing it with the water at optimum moisture content by making use of these trowels. So to begin with the compaction process, we have the mold which we have already prepared for the compaction process, and we have the rammers. We can use either of these two depending upon the situation at the site and as per requirement. In case if we are using the light compaction rammer, then we need to cast the specimen in 3 different layers by giving 55 number of blows for each layer. And in case if we are using the heavy rammer, then we need to have the specimen casted in 5 different layers with each layer compacted 55 number of times. So I am going to use the light compaction rammer for the process. So before I start with the compaction process, I need to separate the soil in 3 different sections like the way it is shown. This is to ensure the even distribution of soil that we have taken for the test. Once the soil is separated, each section need to be transferred in the mold and the compaction can be begun. This would be the first layer for compaction. Drop the material freely, taking care that it doesn't get segregated at one single place. Ensure that all the lumps are broken and evenly distributed in the mold. Once the soil is placed in the mold, we shall start with the compaction process. So I am going to make use of the light compaction rammer, and I am going to compact it by giving even distribution of compaction or compactive effort throughout the specimen. Place it on the soil, lift it to the maximum height and drop the weight. Start counting as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and so on. I keep doing this by evenly distributing the compactive effort on the soil specimen for 55 number of times. Now we have compacted the first layer by giving 55 number of blows evenly distributed throughout the surface of the specimen. Once it is done, place the rammer out and scarify the surface by making use of spatula or a trowel such that the surface is roughened and it will have a proper rough surface to receive the next layer. Once the scarification is done, it is now time to place the next layer and repeat the compaction process the way it was done for the first. After placing the second layered material, we need to start with the compaction process just like the way we did for the first layer. Start the compaction distributing the compaction effort throughout the surface area of the specimen and continue it till you reach 55 number of blows. Now we are done with the compaction of the second layer and we shall start the compaction of the third layer just like the way we did for the first and the second. Place the rammer out, scarify the surface by making use of the trowel or spatula. Once the scarification process is done, we shall be transferring the remaining material for the compaction of the third layer that we have to do. It is not necessarily required to transfer all the material that we have here, as we have taken excess of soil to accommodate the wastage because of spillage that might take place during the compaction process. Remove the extra material and start compacting the third layer. Start the compaction process again by lifting the rammer and then dropping it This process need to be continued till we reach 55 number of blows evenly distributed on the surface of the specimen. Now we are done with the compaction of the third layer, that is the last layer, by giving 55 number of blows. Once the compaction process for the third layer is done, it is now time to remove the collar out. Make use of the 18/19 spanner and loosen the nuts and the bolts carefully. Slide the collar in the circular way and then lift it slowly without disturbing the specimen. Once the collar is removed, it is now time to trim the specimen at this level to achieve a height of specimen of around 175 mm. We can make use of the trowel or cutter to trim the specimen. Once we have trimmed the surface like the way it is being shown now, clean all the soil that is being spilled out and transfer it back into the tray. You can make use of the brush or the waste cloth to do this. Once the area is cleaned, and the excess material that was spilled out is transferred into the tray, this material can be discarded. Now we have the specimen prepared. After trimming, it is now time to loosen the nuts carefully and lift the mold by gradually turning the way it is being shown. The moment the mold is lifted, we have the spacer disc left behind, which needs to be fixed with the handle and removed out. Once the base is ready and the spacer disc being removed, place a filter paper at the bottom. The filter paper after being placed, we need to again transfer the mold back onto the base plate by turning it upside down. Place the mold carefully, keeping in mind that the mold sits exactly on the groove. This space which we have now, which was created by making use of the spacer disc, is actually the space that will be accommodated by the surcharge plates during the test process. Fix the mold back to the base plate by tightening the nuts carefully. Once the mold is tightened firmly with the base plate, it is now time to transfer these surcharge weights onto the mold to begin with the testing process. Each one of these plates that we have weighs 2.5 kilos. Once we have placed it, it is now time to start with the testing process. We can test the specimen in the dry condition like the way we have prepared the specimen now, or we can have a soaked CBR by soaking the whole specimen along with the surcharge weight into a bucket of water, which we call as the soaked CBR test. So we are concentrating on the unsoaked CBR test, and hence we need not soak the specimen before the testing process. Once the surcharge plates are placed, it is now time to test the specimen. We have now prepared the CBR specimen and it is being placed aside here. It is now time to understand the CBR test apparatus before we start with the experiment. This CBR test apparatus is having a knob which, if turned to the left, lowers the base of the testing apparatus, and if the knob is turned to the right, it raises the base, thereby applying the pressure or the load on the specimen while the test process. We have the reaction frame against which, when the base plate raises itself up, the load is being transferred through the plunger of 50 mm dia on the specimen. This is what we call as the proving ring. This proving ring is attached to the reaction frame, and this proving ring will be having the capacity mentioned here at the top. The proving ring that we are using here for this test would be of 25 kilonewton capacity. This proving ring also has a dial gauge which we call as the load dial gauge. This helps us to record the load that is being applied on the specimen through the plunger. This plunger is attached to the proving ring and the whole setup is later attached to the reaction frame. The height of this reaction frame can be adjusted accordingly for a proper seating of this plunger on the specimen by making use of these screws. Once we ensure that the reaction frame is at a proper level, we can place the specimen on the base plate. We have one more dial gauge here, which we call as the deflection dial gauge, which measures the deflection that is being imparted on the specimen during the testing process or while the load is being applied on the specimen. Once we have ensured a proper setup of this particular equipment, we can now place the prepared CBR specimen on the base plate of this apparatus. Once the specimen is placed firmly on the base of this apparatus, it is now time to adjust the screws such that the position of the reaction frame can be adjusted accordingly as per requirement. Loosen the screws to ensure a proper seating of this 50 mm plunger on the specimen. Now you can see that this plunger is passing through the aperture which I had explained to you at the beginning of this test. The plunger passes through the aperture of 53 mm diameter and sits on the specimen. Once you ensure a proper seating of this plunger, it is now time to tighten the screws of the reaction frame. The reaction frame now is properly placed such that the plunger is seated onto the specimen. Place the deflection dial on the surcharge plate and tighten the screws such that it doesn't fall apart. Once we ensure a proper firm setup, it is now time to start with the experiment. Before we start with the experiment, once the plunger is properly seated on the specimen and once the dial gauges are properly placed on the mold, set the dial gauges to 0, both for the deflection dial as well as the load dial. Once the deflection dial is set to 0 and once the load dial also is set to 0, it is now time to apply a seating load to ensure proper seating of this plunger on the specimen. It is now time for us to start with the testing process. I have placed an Allen key as well as a spanner of size 10/11 which might be required to tighten or place the dial gauges in position. Now to begin with the experiment, I now make use of this knob by turning it to the right, which when done, the load starts getting applied on the specimen. You can see that the moment I have switched on the knob, the base starts raising itself, thereby pressing the specimen against this reaction frame. Apply sufficient quantity of load on the specimen as a seating load of approximately 4 kilos. Once it is done, switch off the knob, turn the dial gauges to 0, and then begin with the testing process. This seating load which we just applied is to ensure a proper seating of the plunger on the specimen such that we get a smooth curve while we plot the graph. The moment all the dial gauges or both the dial gauges are set to 0, we can now begin with the testing process. We need to keep in our mind that we need to follow the respective deflection readings that are being specified in the tabulation column of the manual. Corresponding to the respective deflection, we need to measure or we need to note down the load dial gauge reading, and then we can continue with the calculation process. So dear students, we have tested the specimen for the first trial. The same thing can be repeated for 2 other specimens separately prepared, and we can have an average value out of it. So this would be the end of this CBR test experiment. Thank you.
At MSR UAS, we spark your imagination unlike any other.